Welcome to our project name is Foundation of High-Rise Buildings. And before going to explain our project, I would like to say one saying that is said by the John Flower. Engineers are not made technicians and should not approve or lend their name to any project that does not promise to be beneficial to man and the advancement of the civilization. And welcome. And our presentation on the foundation of high-rise buildings. And team members are Yasser bin Ahmad and K. Durga Rao and Jashwant Reddy, M. Rajshekar and G. Stikar myself. And these are the contents. Our contents include the necessity of high-rise buildings and the foundation and activities in foundation work and footing concreting elements in foundation and conclusion. And coming to the necessity of high-rise buildings, here we can see the picture of the necessity of high-rise building. Here we can see the picture of the high-rise building. In our country, construction and owning of a self-home has always been stood as sentimental and attached thing. Every individual to dream to attain a good, affordable and self-respect shelter for his family. But as time progressed, necessity of building showed a dramatic demand, but it lowered down the availability of land and increased the land value, which affected the common man to own his house. As a substitute to conventional independent bungalow, civil engineers took the whole new concept of apartments. But in due course of time, even small apartments were not in position to provide all the amenities and luxury to many people in less land area. This reason sunk the nervous of civil engineers to bring out the concept of high-rise buildings, which cannot only accommodate large number of people in less area, but also guarantee its safety, durability, and strength with much amenities and facilities. And coming to the because of the high-rise buildings, we can get the less availability of land, increasing the land value, and substitute to conventional independent bungalow and luxury to many people in less land area. And coming to the foundation work. And before going for the foundation, we have to know the importance of foundation to a structure. For most structures, including buildings, bridges, earth fields, earth and concrete dams, it is the earth that provides the ultimate support. The behavior of the ground must therefore affect the stability of the structure. The supporting ground is invariable a soil, which is weaker than any construction material like wood, concrete, steel and masonry. Hence, compared to structural members made out of these material, a large area or mass of soil is necessarily involved in carrying the same load. Structural foundations are substructure elements which transmit the structural loads to the earth in such a way that supporting soil is not overstressed and not undergone for deformations that would cause excessive settlement of the structure. Hence, the properties of the supporting soil must be expected to affect virtually the choice of type of structural foundation suitable for structure. And coming to the types of foundation, generally foundations can be classified into two types: shallow foundation and deep foundation. And here we can see the shallow foundation. Shallow foundations are used when surface soils are sufficiently strong and stiff to support the imposed loads. They are generally unsuitable in a weak or highly compressive soils such as poorly compacted peat, decent lacustrine and alluvial deposits, etc. And shallow foundation types. First one, isolated foundation. Here we can see the isolated foundation in our site. Isolated foundation is used to support single columns only. This is one of the most economical type of the footings and is used when columns are spaced at relatively long distances. And coming to the next one, combined footing. Usually support two columns or three columns, not in a row. Combined footings are used when two columns are so close that single footings cannot be used, or when two columns is located or at near a property. And coming to the cantilever footing, here we can see the cantilever footing consists of two single footings connected with a beam or strap and support two single columns. This type replaces a combined footing and is more economical. And coming to the next one, continuous footing, support a row of three or more columns. They have limited width and continue under all columns. And welcome to our project name is Foundation of High-Rise Buildings. And before going to explain our project, I would like to say one saying that is said by the John Flower. And coming to the deep foundations, deep foundations can be used to transmit the loading to a deeper, more competent strata at a depth if unsuitable soils are present near the surface. Deep foundations are used when there are weak soils near the surface or when loads are very high, such as very large scampi. And coming to the in deep foundations, we have the file foundation. Here we can see the picture of the file foundation. These are relatively long slender members that transmits foundation loads through soil strata of low bearing capacity to deeper soil or rock strata having a high bearing capacity. They are used when for economic construction or soil condition considerations. It is desirable to transmit loads to strata behind the practical reach the shallow foundations. And coming to the choosing of foundation system, depending upon the type of superstructure and forces to be transmitted on the ground and subsurface conditions, we can choose the foundation system. But before going for the foundation of for choosing of any foundation, we have to fulfill some of the requirements. The requirements are location and depth criteria and shear failure bearing capacity criteria, and the last one is the settlement criteria. Coming to the location and depth criteria, a foundation must be properly located and founded at a such depth that its performances is not adversely affected by factors such as lateral expansion of the soil from beneath the foundation and seasonal volume changes caused by freezing and thawing and turns of adjacent structure. And coming to the bearing capacity criteria, a foundation must be safe against shear strength failure or soil rupture. An adequate factor of safety is provided to preclude bearing capacity failure, as soil rupture is commonly referred to. And coming to the settlement criteria is the most considerable criteria for any type of foundation of any structure. The settlement of a foundation, especially the differential settlement, must be within the permissible limits. Excessive settlement may affect the utility of the structure, spoil the appearance of the structure, and in some cases may even cause damage to the structure. And coming to the next thing is the activities involved in the foundation work, that is the excavation of the soil and P.C.C. and marking. And excavation of the soil is a preliminary activity of the construction project. It starts from the pits for the building foundations and continues up to the hanging over of the project. Welcome to our project name is Foundation of High-Rise Buildings. And before going to explain our project, I would like to say one saying that is said by the John. And coming to the next one, P.C.C. P.C.C. is nothing but the plain cement concrete. It is a construction material generally used as a binding material, and it is composed of cement and other cementitious materials such as fly ash and slag, cement aggregate, water and chemical additives. Here we can see the execution of the plain cement concrete at our site. And coming to the next one is the marking. Marking is nothing but it plays a very vital role, very important role in our any construction site. It is important after P.C.C. generally done with cement mortar and benchmark for the cuttlement of the bars. The marking is done in various stages of foundation work. The initial stage of work is done at P.C.C. level, that is after P.C.C. is laid above the soil surface, and P.C.C. is made to cure and then above P.C.C. marking of column and footing is done as shown in the table. And welcome, and our presentation on the foundation of high-rise buildings, and team members are Yasser bin Ahmad and K. Durga Rao and Jashwant Reddy, M. Rajshekar and G. Srikanth. And erection of the reinforcement as per design, placing of bottom reinforcement as per marking, and erection of the column reinforcement. And here we can see the column reinforcement, that is nothing but the column reinforcement at our site. After erection of column reinforcement on the P.C.C., according to the design, column reinforcement is provided aims bottom reinforcement mat. Column reinforcement edges at bottom are cut held at 45 degree perpendicular to vertical bars so as to provide a good grip between them. If the footing has top reinforcement mat, then it is laid only after erection of the column reinforcement. And here we can see the supporting to column reinforcement. Generally, column reinforcement is provided 4 inches to 5 inches above the pedestal level, that is 10 inches to 12 inches above the P.C.C. level. Hence, due to wind or many other factors, the vertical column reinforcement may twist about a certain angle. So, to overcome this factor, temporary supports are provided to column reinforcement using wooden flanges, steel bars connected to beside column or any other temporary materials. Here we can see the displaying the temporary support to the column on our side. And after completion of the temporary support to the given site, the next thing is placing of concrete and compaction. Coming to the placing of concrete, according to the mix design, concrete has to be placed after the erection of shuttering work. Based on design, concrete mix is ordered and it is used. Generally, RMC ready mix concrete concrete is used for concreting instead of manual preparation, which reduces the labor work and is time taken process. And with the help of the connecting pipes, which is connected from RMC container to the footing, the concrete is transferred. It can be manually operated for the functioning of concreting. Usually 2 workers are required to place the concrete. Here we can see the 2 workers in our site, one to hold the concrete pipe and the other with pin vibrator to compact the concrete. Pin vibrator of 40 diameter is generally used to compact the vibrator. And coming to the next, these are the elements involved in the foundation. That is nothing but the plinth beam. Here we can see the plinth beam in our site. Basically, plinth beam connects all pillars and serves as the base for construction of walls. It's important to get the plinth beam alignment and finish perfect. Metal boards are used to mark should the finish is good as per the measurements. The plinth beam being the base can screw up the walls construction later on. Also, it's important to let the plinth beam secure. They have to be strong since all the weight of the house is on plinth beam supported by the pillars over itself. And coming to the next element involved in our project, that is nothing but the pedestal. When structural works are connected to the foundation, pedestals are normally designed to carry loads from columns through the ground surface to the footings, which are located below the ground surface. With the installation of pedestals, it is the pedestals instead of columns which come in contact with soils. The purpose of provision of pedestals is to avoid the direct contact of columns with soils, which may cause possible erosion of reinforcement by soils. The soils around the pedestal should be properly compacted to provide sufficient lateral resistance to prevent buckling of pedestal. Here we can see the pedestal in our site. Coming to the next one is the conclusion what we conclude from our site. By experiencing visually the ongoing work at our site is helped us to match the book knowledge with the practical application of the studies. As said, our site had 5 blocks of 22 floors each, and all of them were at different stages of work. We studied the foundation work at Block E, Victoria Block of Empress Towers, which helped us to learn from excavation level laying of P.C.C to the soil filling level. We also had the privilege to learn the work of slab, which was carried out in Block D of Empress Towers. Execution work above the ground level was carried out at Block C. It reached till 10th floor, which made us to a new superstructure work. Basically, our project work was aimed to foundation work of high-rise buildings, as it is the most challenging part of the execution body. We feel ourselves great privileged to be associated with the Ruptured Aditya Construction Company, Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad, to complete our project successfully, and their support and encouragement throughout our project is unforgettable. And here we can see the typical picture shows the high-rise buildings. And from one saying, we would like to end up our session. He was living like an engineer in a mechanical world. No wonder he had become dry as a student. Thank you.